Hi, welcome to Intro to Programming for Business Majors. This is an introductory programming class that uses Java for people who are brand new to programming. This is a from scratch program. This is week 2. We'll be doing the Lab 3 walkthrough now. If you're wondering what happened to Lab 2, if you're following along, I'm not sure. I can't find a Lab 2 anywhere in the syllabus, so we're just going to go ahead with Lab 3 and move forward here, okay? Let's pop on over and let's look at the instructions. Okay, so for Lab 3, it's going to be similar to last week's program, but we're going to be declaring 4 variables. Name, and that's going to be a string. Age, and that's going to be an integer. Months will be also an integer, and annual salary is going to be a double. And then we're going to have it print out. You're going to use your printable string variables here to print out something that looks like this. My name is Ben Larson. My age, I wish it was 29 years old. Wishes how many months, and I hope to earn $240,000 a year. Hey, aim high where you want. You can do it another shot. You can try to change it up instead of using, you can try months. And then for extra credit, use only one print line statement to print everything out. And so let's go ahead over into our NetBeans and get started. All right, here we are in NetBeans. Again, just to make things easier, we'll just start a new project each time right now. We'll go ahead, just go to project, choose a new one. If you haven't done this before, remember we're going to look for Java with Ant, not the ones below it, and just Java application. If you have an older version of Netflix, you'll just see Java will be the folder and Java application. But the rest of these are for different purposes. The Java with Maven, those are all, it's a little more complicated. So go ahead and hit next. Name this whatever you want. I'm just going to name this Lab 3. It will create my main class for me. Hit finish. And we'll get something like this. We have our project, and here's our main class. Let's go ahead where we want now. Look in here. Let me pop in. I'm going to zoom this in a little bit. And again, all this stuff up here, if you see the asterisks with the slashes, this is all remarks. Doesn't mean anything. It's package lab is because it's part of a project. So everything we're concerned about is down here. Remember, we have to have our public class, which has to have the same name as our Java file, capitals and everything. And then we have to have our main method. Okay, these are the minimums we got to have to roll forward. And we're going to be living until told otherwise. You're going to be just surviving here in the main method. Okay, so we're going to head down here. Let's just start with our variables. So when we declare variables in Java, we always start with the variable name. And also remember, for the most part in this course, we're going to be working with what's known as the primitive data types. So your byte, your short, your int, your long, your float, your double, boolean, and char. All of these right here are all numbers. So byte through long, these are all numbers. These are all integers that do not have anything behind them. So there's no decimal points. Float and double are decimals. Double's bigger than a float, can handle more. That's how you look at these. Byte is the smallest you can have all the way up to long, which is the biggest number you can get there. Booleans, true or false, and then char is a single character. Okay, I'm not going to be using char in this one. Instead, we're going to be using string, which is actually a class in its own thing, but we're not going to get too worried about that. But the big thing you're going to notice here when we declare a string is that string is capital. Now I'm going to declare string name, and that's just the name I give it. It doesn't matter. And I put my semicolon at the end to point out this is a file here. And then I also want to have top. I also want to have age in years and age in months declared as variables. Okay, I want those both to be integers as well. So we're going to go back up and we're going to say int age years, age months. I'm going to put this all in one line. What I could have done is instead made a second line age months, this would have been cool too, instead of having the age years in one. But you can, because they're both same data type, I can put them both here in one line. And then the last one I want is my salary. So I'm going to call that a double because I want to, put the cents in there, even though I don't know too many people when they're asked their salary to how many pennies they make at the end. But normally they just kind of round it off to the thousands. But all right, so there we go. So now we've created our variables. Now we want to do is populate them. So there's my variable name, and I'm going to give it my name in I keep remembering I'm going to go between languages here. It's double quotes here. So I put my name, Ben Larson. I'm going to put my age. Oops, sorry. My mouse got away from me. Put my age in months as, oops, I'm sorry, age in years, because we're going to calculate the months from that. Age in years equals 47. And my age in months, we're going to do a calculation here. We're going to say age in years times 12. Okay. And, you can, this is completely the cheater method makes it not really true, because if you could be, this only counts if you turn 47 this month. Otherwise, if you're 47 and a half, it would be another 6 months, but we're not going to get too deep into that. Let's not worry there. And salary. Now remember, put the salary. This is a salary you want to make. You don't have to put what you have. This is what you want to make. And it's going to be a double. So notice we don't have to put any quotes around this, because let's say I want to make 500,000 a year. That would be kind of cool. Now don't put any commas, and do not put, so don't like separate like the commas for the thousands. Don't worry about that. And just make sure we do that. Okay, now to print. Okay, see, look at this. I've got an error here. This is good, because now it's saying, and this is underlined age and month. I thought, well, what's wrong there? I declared it not. I declared age in months. I got to put the S there. Okay, always watch out for your errors. Okay. So now we'll get rid of these two, because now they're saying we're not reading them. We're populating and we haven't read the variable. So it's like, hey, why'd you put a variable in here you're not going to use? So let's go ahead. Let's start. Now, if you remember here, to print out, we're going to use another class, just like the string here with the capital. You can always tell the classes. We're going to do system out. And then the method we want for out, we're going to use print line. Print ln. And we're going to say, hey, oops. Sorry, my mouse is really sensitive today. Sorry. My name is, and then watch this. Make sure you put this. If you don't put the space here, you have a problem, because you'll get. And I can show you once we run it. Name and put my. Then I can do another one. System.out.println. I am. I'll print. Do age. Years. Plus years old. Okay. And put the quote. Start to notice my string name thing went away. That error, because now I used it. This one will go away once I use the months. Then I'll say system.out.println. And then I will say to myself, that is, and this would be my age months. Months, period. And then, so now it's down to just a single error here, and that's just my salary. And then I'll do one final out here. I'll do system.out, println. I hope to make salary one day. Okay. So here's our whole thing. So we've declared our variables, we've populated our variables, now we've put them into print statements. Now we just got to see if it works. So we'll just go ahead and run this whole thing and run file. Now, as you see, here's the results. My name is Ben Larson. I'm 47 years old, and I hope to make this much one day. You'll notice this, it cut it off at just 0.0. It didn't have the 00. That's a printer formatting issue. We'll show you. There's a later lesson. We'll do that. We'll cover it in. But yeah, you can fix that. You just have to tell it. You basically have to tell the computer, hey, I want that extra 0 for visual purposes. All right, now real quick, let's go ahead. Let's back to, if we remember the sheet here. And we had a challenge at the end. And that challenge was to use only one print or print line statement to print out your output. Now, if you've watched the lesson back, and I'll put a link for the lesson in the description here, this will give you print and print line. The big difference is that print line automatically does a carriage return. So it gives you a /n, escape n to go to the next line. Print will not. So that's the two differences between those. And we're going to use a single print line statement. We're going to go into here and we're going to watch this. So let's show you how you can do it. So always remember the semicolon demarks the end of a statement. So I'm going to go here and I'm just going to get rid of that end part and I'm going to add a plus. And that's going to say I want to start the next line here. So we can get rid of this system out. And I'm going to put this over here even though I don't have to. I could leave that where it is. And then I'm going to go here, get rid of this. I'm going to give it another plus. I'm going to go here. I'm like I say, I'm pushing everything back to here, the sole purpose of making sure that it's kind of a visual. All right, one more line. We'll do this. And then we're going to go put other plus, then go down here. And I'm going to run this, and you're going to see it's going to can be a little wacky once I finish running. But so now this is all viewed as one line. Now you got to make sure these pluses are what let it know to keep going, to keep carrying on to the next line. So, but notice I've only got one semicolon, so it's effectively one statement. We're going to go ahead, we're going to run this one now. And the results are going to look like this. So I got it all in one row, okay? So how do I fix that? Well, what we can do to fix that is we can go down to here and we can add our escape in. Print line, what it effectively does is at the end of each line, it gives us a, so we're going to put it in there. Now you got to make sure you put this /n has to be inside the quotes. If you try to put it outside the quotes, like after here it's going to cause a problem. So just put it in the quotes. I'm just going to put at the beginning of each next line to make life easy. And I'm just going to run this now. Okay. Run file. Now let's go ahead and back look again, and there we go. Perfect. All right, there you go. So this is simple. This is basically our second lab, nice and simple. We did some variables, we declared them, we added values to them, and now we printed them out. All right, go ahead. Look forward to seeing you in your next class. Thank you very much.